Moving on is a difficult decision one has to make a few times in life. You can try to hold on to people who have walked away from you, or you can choose to create a dignified life for yourself. You can carry your mistakes with you, or you can choose to learn new things to better yourself. Eventually, moving on has nothing to do with people or what happened in the past. It has everything to do with how you rebuild your life from this moment on. Didinsky. When you actually sit back and you analyze those words, for want of a better phrase, and you actually look at your own life, moving on is difficult. It's never going to be easy for anybody. But sometimes moving on is something that you have to do because it's going to be of major benefit for you and your life. Easy for you to say, I can hear you say. No, it wasn't easy for me to say because moving on was a very difficult decision that I had to make. But I had to make it for the benefit of my well-being. Not just mentally, but physically as well, because when things upset us mentally and they have that effect where they bring us down, we call it the black dog, don't we? They land up having physical difficulties and our physical being starts to suffer. How do I know that? Because I've studied that part. And I've studied mental health awareness to get an understanding of what it is and that affects us and how we can go about doing things to change those things. So we land up with our physical health being in a better condition than it was whilst we were feeling down or depressed and in that period of not communicating, not wanting to do anything, not wanting to be anywhere, and literally just staying where you are in your PJs. But making that decision to move on can be one of the most amazing decisions you have ever made in your life. I'll give you a prime example of how moving on has been difficult and how I could carry this forward with me and continue to be in the pits of despair and not wanting to be involved in anything, way, shape or form of life. From July 2021 to the 11th of March 2022, we as a family went through an extraordinary amount of pain and suffering. In the July of 2021, we lost my mum, Pat, to vascular dementia, Alzheimer's, and, as the coroner put it, old age. She was 81, I believe she was. All right, yeah, 81. So, within a matter of days of mum dying, my daughter Saf and I went down and started looking after my dad, Malcolm. And we were back and forth from where they lived to the area that we lived in. It was a good 3.5 hour drive. Towards the end of 2021, my dad's health suddenly took a major dip. And he spent the next few months in and out of hospital. And it got to the stage where there was nothing more that they could do for him but bring him home, make him comfortable, put in palliative care, or help my daughter and I with the palliative care that was needed, and just keep my dad comfortable and happy until he passed away on the 11th of March 2022. I believed that I was going to be able to come back and bounce into things within a matter of days or so of doing this, because it was going to be a benefit to me to do that. How wrong I was. But it got to a stage after quite a few weeks where I suddenly woke up one morning and it was like a kick up the rear that I had to move on. It doesn't mean that I have stopped grieving, because I haven't. But I have to look at what is going to be more positive and more forward moving with my life. And I've taken the fact of losing both my parents and the opportunity of the things that my father was able to give us and the things that he was doing at that moment in time, and put them all together and come up with Governor's World. Why Governor's World? Because, as I've said before, they're governors and we were their world, and they like to help the world. They like to help people. Moving on was a difficult decision in some aspects, because I felt guilty, the fact that I didn't want them to think that I was forgetting about them. But then on the other side, I knew that I had to move on. I had to put those things in perspective and move on and get on and rebuild my life. Not only rebuilding my life, but supporting my daughter and my niece in rebuilding theirs. Helping, supporting family members, being there for each other. That is what it's all about. Today, society has really bashed family values and devalued the family, something chronic. It's time to start rebuilding those family values. Those family values help keep us in a good well-being. It takes a village to raise a child. Don't demolish the village. But moving on from negativity and toxic people help you to rebuild your life to a more happier and positive place. Moving on is difficult. It's a difficult decision to make. But knowing that you've got the right support around you, the right positive support around you, you can move forward to a better, more empowered you and a happier life as you go forward. Knowing that you are going to be able to deal with the stresses and the strains that life will throw at you, because it's all on the test of the path of our lives. No life from A to B has been 100% perfect. There's been trials and tribulations in every single person who has walked this planet. You and I are not alone in our mental well-being being pushed out of balance. There are so many in the world. It's not time to brush it under the carpet. It's time to bring it all out into the open. And if bringing it out in the open is going to be of benefit to you to move forward, then that is what you need to do. You need to be open and honest. Transparency. Transparency surrounds you with the right people to go forward with. Remember, rebuilding your life, your choices are going to be what helps you rebuild your life. If you make the wrong choices, you're going to go down the path again of feeling less empowered, self-esteem being bashed, and confidence being bashed. Surrounding yourself with the right people will put your self-esteem going forward, will push your confidence going forward. Praise and being told that something that you've done is good is a massive boost for every single one of us. Positive criticism is a benefit to help us go forward. It doesn't mean that the person is against you or wants to see you fail. In actual fact, positive criticism is showing you that if you instead do it this way, things might be a little bit easier for you to get to the point where you need to get to. So once you've made that decision to move on, to leave those negative people, traits, paths, and patterns behind you, once you decide to go forward and learn from your mistakes and learn from the failures that we've had, we can then go forward and we can help rebuild a better life for ourselves by doing things that are going to be of benefit to you. Your self-worth, your self-care, your self-love, your self-respect are the most important things before you can allow anybody else inside your door. Once you've got those and people know that you know your self-worth and you're confident and you've got a good self-esteem, you will find that toxic people will actually stay away from you. Why will they stay away from you? Because they know that you will pick them out. But there are some toxic people who see you closing a door and not paying attention to them as an almighty challenge. Don't be a Barney from How I Met Your Mother and say challenge accepted, because you don't want to accept those challenges. You want to ignore them and you want to keep moving forward. Don't hold on to people that don't want to hold on to you. Don't hold on to people who don't want to be in contact with you. Don't hold on to places because you remember good times there, because those good times are outweighed by the lack of contact and the lack of understanding of where you are in your life. Move on. You will meet better people who will help you step forward and more forward and more forward. Those are the people that you want in your corner. Changing your appearance in more ways than one. It's not just about the clothes you wear. Appearance isn't just about clothing. There's much more to appearance. There's much more to being able to voice your voice properly. That shows people that you are actually quite confident. You've got a good self-esteem, even if your self-esteem seems to be having a bit of a wavy time. By having certain things that you can project, like a strong voice, will show people that you're confident. Your whole outward appearance, clothing included, will show people that you are a confident person and you've got good self-esteem. That in itself is a boost to you. Moving on is difficult. Yes, it is. But with the right support, you can do it. You can rebuild your life to a place where you want to be. And how can you do it? You can start from this moment onwards. You have the power to rebuild your life. You have the power to have absolute and utter control over your life. Don't let anybody else do it. Make that decision to move on. You won't regret it.